Do you know what it's like to be locked in the body of an absolute fuck-up? A fuck-up who thinks he owns the world, thinks he's got it all figured out. A fuck-up who pretends like if he just works hard enough, he'll make a name of himself. Imagine having to address every single one of that fuck-up's fuck-ups while maintaining his initial dreams and trying to be a normal person and maintaining his life and talking to his family and friends and doing all of that under the ever-looming question of why the fuck I'm here in the first place. That's my nightmare, Noah. And I can't seem to fucking wake up.
A year ago, I did a thing. It was a rather large thing. In the span of just 4 months, my friends and I wrote, directed, and produced an hour-and-a-half-long film. The film was everything to me. Every free second I had between the months of February and June of 2019 was spent on making the Fermi Paradox. It was my life. In fact, I probably cared more about that project than life itself. What was it about? Well, there were these clones, and they all looked like me, and they made a deal with the devil or something, and then they had to kill some old guy, or else their friend would be stuck inside my computer for some reason. And for God's sakes, I wrote this line. I'm hands. Hands. Because I got big hands. I legitimately named a character Hands. I don't know. It's a bit of a mess. If you saw it on your YouTube recommended, you might write it off as some one-off student thriller with tonal issues and nothing more. That's really all I thought it was, too. But since making the Fermi Paradox a year ago, my life has gone through some massive changes. Sometimes I rewatch it to remember what life was like when I could spend every day working on a passion project. But every time I rewatch it, I see more and more of what the film was actually trying to say. It was more than just a shitty movie. It was a cry for help. I've been fortunate enough to have grown up in a supportive environment. My parents and friends always encouraged me to shoot for my wildest dreams. They really made me feel like there was something special about me. As if I had been given the gift of creativity, and the world was my oyster. December 12th, 2018. My brother's 15th birthday.
Holy crap!
Say it again! Say it again!
I got in!
You got in where?
I got into Chapman University, my top school.
8% acceptance rate.
I thought it was a mistake. All of a sudden, I would be playing with the big kids, and that realization hit me like a truck. I never liked my work. I never made anything noteworthy. Why the hell did I deserve to be at Chapman University? I needed to prove that what everyone had told me was true. I needed to prove that I deserved to be at Chapman. I needed to prove that I was still special. So I made a feature. When the movie came out, I didn't feel pride. I tried to be grateful for all the nice words that everyone was giving me, but they didn't feel deserved. The school I was attending was one of the top-ranked film schools in the country, and I didn't think that I was good enough. I felt like a faker.
It's because you're a faker, Noah.
Just like the movie said. When I arrived at Chapman, I quickly realized that there was something a little bit off about me. Something like depression and anxiety. I didn't feel like I deserved to be there, and without the support system I had at home, the only voice I had in my head was the one constantly telling me that I wasn't good enough. That I would never be good enough. I mean, just look at the stuff my peers were making. This project was directed by my roommates, and I acted in it. And I mean, come on! How could I compare? The voice grew louder and louder as time went on. I grew resentful towards those who still gave me kind words, so I cut myself off from them. They were only feeding my ego, the very thing that got me in this mess in the first place. I felt like no matter how hard I tried, I would never deserve all the good things that I got. So I started resisting any and all positive change. I was alone. but at least I felt like I wasn't faking it anymore. And that made me special. At least I was still special. Alone, not faking it, and special. Something about that made me feel good. Basking in my inadequacy felt liberating. I saw the encouragement I got growing up as something different. In my head, it wasn't encouragement. It was pressure. I started getting into bad habits. I stopped caring about what people thought of me. I stopped caring about my grades. I stopped caring about money. I stopped caring about my relationships. I was gonna die one day. And when that day came, it didn't matter to me if I was the next Spielberg or some bum on the street. It was also unfair. I would never be good enough. And even if I did feel good enough, I was just faking it because I didn't deserve that. I did some things I'm not proud of, but I couldn't stop. My depression started to eat away at everything that I held dear, but I kept feeding it. One day I genuinely thought I was going to take my own life. I decided it in the morning, and for the rest of the day I sat in my bed thinking about it. Other people were going to class, or work, or whatever else they were doing. I was contemplating my existence. Would I ever be good enough? Did I even deserve to be in this world if all I did was feel sorry for myself? It was a long day. I decided to go for a walk. I didn't know where I was going, I just went. I wasn't really thinking about anything. I suppose I just wanted to take everything all in, one last time. I looked up at the sky. The sun was setting. It was a beautiful tint of orange and purple. A slight breeze blew through my hair. I thought about how I might never get to see this again. I would never get to see a sunset. I would never get to taste ice cream. I would never get to make someone laugh. I would never get to inspire anyone. I would never get to be me again. I took a breath, and all of a sudden, it was good enough. All of it. The ice cream, and the laughter, and the inspiration. Even with all the world's imperfections and injustice, I could still sit and watch the sunset at the end of every day, and it was good enough. And just for a brief moment, I felt good enough too. And so I'm still here.
I wanna move to Switzerland, where everything seems different.
I'm far from perfect. I've faced terrible failures in my life. I've made some mistakes that I definitely can't take back. But I'm also great in many ways. And it's taken me a long time to be able to admit that to myself. So back to the Fermi paradox.
This is all uncertain, I know. And maybe we'll fail. I can't lie to you. But from the short amount of time that I've been here, I know we have to try, no matter the odds, no matter how illogical. We have to try.
It's oddly poetic. I didn't know it, but I was actually sending a message to myself. Even though this world is uncertain, and I won't always have my safety net, it means something to press on anyway. You don't have to have the world figured out all at once. It's a process. It takes time. And I'm happy to say that I'm willing to put in the effort again. I'm still working on myself, and depression still makes some days feel unbearable. But for the first time in a long time, I can confidently say that I am enough.
not that great of a person either. But that doesn't mean I don't deserve to exist. Same goes for you.
I don't know, there seems like there's something off.
Listen, we're all crazy. No one's normal. Normal is just a word boring people use to define themselves so they don't have to deal with what makes them batshit. Like you and me. Yeah, you're crazy, but who cares?